Alright, this video is to help with a tutorial on 3-point perspectives. So now that you've done 1 and 2-point perspective sketches, we're going to move on to 3 points. So now you're going to see a big difference. Our horizon line ends up having vanishing point 1, vanishing point 2, and vanishing point 3 down here. So what happens is ends up becoming what they know as the bird's eye view, so you see a lot more of the top when it comes to a 3-point perspective. And we're going to go ahead and follow the same process. If you look down here, here's our little notes. Width lines are going to go back to vanishing point 1, like they did just on the 2 perspective sketch. Depth lines go back to vanishing point 2. So anything going in depth is going to go back to vanishing point 2. But this time the height lines are going to be transferred down and line up with vanishing point 3. So this is a little different, very similar to 2-point perspective, but it's a little bit different. So keep in mind those little notes as we take a look at the isometric sketch. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, again, kind of enclose this into a glass box so that way we can kind of see what we're working with here. And same kind of thing. So these are your width lines running in this direction. These are your depth lines running in this direction. And these are your height lines running up and down, following the directions of the arrows. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a look. So I'm going to start off with the width lines first. Width lines from vanishing point 1 line up with my box. And I go ahead and start transferring those 3 width lines in to give me that finished kind of glass box look as we do that. Okay, vanishing point 2 is going to be the depth lines. So same kind of scenario. You'll notice we're going just a little bit faster on this one because by now, you know, this is very similar to 2-point sketch. So this should be starting to become a little bit more natural to you. The only thing that's changed is now these height lines, rather than staying vertical, they're going to end up lining up with vanishing point 3. So you're going to see in this one right here in the middle, doesn't really angle because it's right directly in line with vanishing point 3. But these other two kind of angle off because they're kind of angled out away from the vanishing point. Alright, same process as what we did before. I'm going to work with that front face. We know the front face is about 1/4 of the front of the box. Now when I draw my line in, my height line, I got to make sure I'm lined up with vanishing point 3. So now you're going to see a definite kind of difference between, and then I can use the rest of my box to line these out. But you're going to see a big difference between these 2 sketches. I'm going to do the same thing on this side, looking at this face. Takes up about half the box, so there'd be half. And then want to make sure I line up with vanishing point 3. Draw that in. Outline the outside edges. And there's that outside face. Same exact process as what we did to make the top. I'm going to draw this line back. So going in depth, I'm going to line up with vanishing point 2. Light construction line just to give me a guide. And then from this corner, I'm going to come back to where it meets. So same thing here. We'll find that corner, line up with vanishing point 1. I'm going to draw back till I hit that guideline that I just created. Now I can kind of outline that line before nice and dark. And then I'm going to go ahead and outline the outside edges of the box because now that becomes part of our object. Okay, so there's that top face. Now all we got to do is follow the same procedure. So same thing for the bottom. This kind of lines up. Do a light construction line back. From here, vanishing point 1. Draw back till I hit that till I hit that construction line that I set up. That guiding line. Darken that out. Now all I got to do is put in that line between. I got to make sure I line up with vanishing point 3. And there's our 3-point perspective sketch. Same process as what we did before. So with shading, fronts are going to get the darkest shade. The sides will get just a little bit of gray. And then our tops will stay white. So as we kind of try to follow that particular convention for shading. So you'll see here I kind of started in one direction and then I kind of go back over in another direction. So I'm being real careful as I kind of shade long strokes really helps. So with your pencil, doesn't have to make you shade as much. And then the sides will get just a little bit of shading there. Okay, and this finishes out the 3-point perspective sketch.